The effectiveness of the educational system in America is critical to determine the country's future. A major defining quality of the American public school system is the way it is funded. The current method is often a topic of debate, as it makes the school's funds directly proportional to the property taxes of the surrounding area. Because of this, there is a great deal of inconsistency in terms of the resources available from one district to another.
Yeah, I've had experiences in other states with education, and it's not the same from one state to another, and in Illinois it's not the same from one community to another in terms of how education is funded.
I think there are some major problems with it. There's a big lack of equality, especially in Illinois, relying on property taxes to fund schools.
A common argument against the system includes the harmful effects a weak school can have on students from impoverished districts, which may follow them for the rest of their lives. However, many who live in wealthier districts do not feel they should be responsible for someone else's child.
Community members are stakeholders, even if they don't have students in the school, because their property values are dependent on what the schools in their local area are doing. So that might, one positive thing is it might encourage a little bit more community involvement. On the other hand, the stakes are pretty high for students who don't grow up in a community with big houses that can afford the tax base to support a high quality education. So it's unfortunate.
Although funding may give a school the resources it needs, that may not necessarily guarantee success.
Obviously, as a public education advocate, I think you'd always want more funding. But the real challenge of education, I would always contend, is not in the funding. It is really in the programming. And some people would like to equate that funding with the programming. Myself, I believe most of the work that can be done is not a result of dollars necessarily coming in, but of the ingenuity and talent level of the educators and community that support a local school.
I believe that, the Founding Fathers really knew that an educated populace was essential for democracy, and I think the public school system is essential for us to be a thriving nation. So I pay my tax dollars as a Homewood resident, and I'm proud of our school system, and I'm glad to be part of the community.
Even if there was an agreement on the need to redistribute educational funding, actually implementing that change may prove to be extremely difficult.
Because it's such an entrenched system, it's hard to implement those steps because everybody is very comfortable with how things are. So I'd say that's probably the greatest limitation, is a system that we've created, but I would also say that that's the time that you need real leaders, need real leadership to purport and to sell what can be and what is good, and that there is a better way. And I think that is the answer, and that's the real challenge.
A factor that goes hand in hand with funding is the role diversity plays in education. An environment that is both socioeconomically and racially diverse can have a positive impact on students' growth.
You're learning to develop empathy, historical or otherwise, for different perspectives, different situations, different groups of people, and it's really hard to do that in a homogeneous environment.
Something we have here that we take for granted is that we're so diverse and we don't focus on race as much as a lot of other places do, that it just naturally comes to us. And when we're in an environment that is not diverse, it's almost uncomfortable.
Our goal is to take a student day one and day 180, then after 4 years, to get them to maximize their potential. So the real concept is, what role does diversity play in that? And I would contend that education is not just about the formal material you learn in the classroom, but it's also about the practical experiences you get. And I really think that speaks to the diversity component in terms of being able to live in this world, function in this world, be able to expand your own horizons, be able to expand horizons of others. I think it brings a richness to the education.
We are a nation of color, we're a nation of diverse, like you said, socioeconomic groups, and it takes everybody. So I love the fact that in our community we really have that opportunity to know different people who are different from us as far as their backgrounds, but yet find that commonality of just our humanity.
Above everything else, a school's focus should be primarily on the quality of education it provides, and each public school district and each child should be afforded an equal opportunity to succeed despite any inherited misfortune or lack thereof.